So where were you before the program? How were you feeling before the program?
I think before the program, I actually met you at one of the Prodigy events, and when I heard your story, it resonated a lot with me because my life story is very similar to Anita's, where I was born in India and raised Indian, but then now living in Singapore, so in the Western world, married to also a foreigner, and there was a lot of cultural clashes within my exterior as well as my interior self, and all my life I've been brought up wanting to do more and achieve more and people please.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always kept thinking, if I do this one more thing, it's going to be enough and I'm going to have happiness. And being 30 and having a good job and having a great husband and having a beautiful baby and having the family support, it was still not enough. There was something within me that kept feeling guilt, kept feeling like I'm not doing enough. I'm not able to tick all the right boxes, and I kept pushing myself to find that space, that thing that I was lacking, and I think that was where I was before the program.
So how were you feeling?
Feeling lost, fake. I think fake and lost, and not really clear on what I need to do to get where I want to be, because I had this vision, but it was clashing with the limitations of my exterior and the person I was and my relationships in my life. So I was feeling very claustrophobic and what's the word? Locked in. So it was very hard for me to find a way out because I was in my own head a lot. Before the program.
So were you apprehensive or uncomfortable about taking the leap, or even maybe afraid of doing something like this?
Afraid. So afraid. So I think deep down inside, when I look back now, since we've been through the program, I did know what the real issue was and what I needed to change. I did know, and I was, and I think I still am, very scared about what happens after I take that step. And the program definitely helped encourage me and give me that support system to know, to live my truth, to be myself. And I don't think I was getting that at without this program. So I knew the change that I needed to make, but I was too scared to do it, and this program definitely helped me take that step.
So do you remember the outcomes you wanted at the beginning?
Yes. So I wanted a promotion. I wanted to enjoy my life, and I wanted to be at peace and have that peace of mind and not constantly live in fear, and have a better relationship with my husband and my family. And so those were the key points, like to progress, to be confident, and to be noticed for what I am.
How far do you think you've achieved that? How far do you think you've achieved those outcomes? What wins do you feel you've had?
I got promoted, so that's one tick. I think I definitely am able to be more confident in the way I present myself. I am no longer the teenage something girl dressing up the way my mother wanted me to dress up, single child, and so my mom plays a big role in my life, and so a lot of her thoughts influence the way I would behave and live, and so a lot of that has changed. I am becoming my own woman. I'm becoming my own person. So that's definitely a take. Confidence, my promotion, and then my relationship with my husband, brilliant. I every day I feel closer to him. We are stronger together, even when he is still annoying. I try my hardest to delve into my feminine energy and not be my masculine self, so that he can take the lead and he can help us achieve what we want. And that I really appreciate it. And we've never been this strong, and it's oops. There we go.
Edit it anyway, my love.
Yeah. And so we really are connecting, and we are in a really good place right now. So that's another tick.
So more?
And there's more. So my relationship with my parents, I think that's the only reason I would say my relationship with my parents is the only thing that's going to give me not 100%. So I would say that's still a work in progress. I'm being with it. I'm not pushing it. And so I would give myself maybe a 90 purely because there's still work to be done and there's still room for growth. And yeah.
What growth do you feel you've had with your parents?
I think my father and I, and this is something we'll need to delve into in our coaching session, I think we've made progress when it comes to him understanding that the role I expect him to play as a parent and the role I'm going to play in the future as a child. But I think, it's hard for them to accept, and it's hard for them to change. And so I think we've definitely progressed to a certain extent. And there are some boundaries that we're setting with love, but it's hard for them to understand.
What's it done for you?
But for me, it's definitely, it's made me stronger. It's made me trust myself more. It's made me be comfortable in my own skin, confident of myself, like without anybody, like without the husband, without the parents, without the grandparents. It's just me, and I'm okay with it. And that's never something I was good at. Like being alone is my biggest fear, or was my biggest fear. But now it's okay.
So how do you feel about all these wins? How do you feel about those outcomes that come forward?
Free. I feel more able to take care of myself and achieve whatever I want to achieve. And it's no longer doing something because I'm told to do it or because I'm expected to do it, and it's more because I want to do it. And that's a huge big difference. And knowing what I want, because all my life I've played so many roles and adapting to everybody around me that it was really hard to have my own opinion. And I think that was another issue that my relationship was facing, because my husband would always look to me saying, what's your opinion? And I'd be like, oh, whatever you think. And so that's the key point that's kind of changed over the last 7-8 months, where I feel I'm able to voice it out, saying, this is what I would like. What do you think? Like, do you want to also do the same thing? And we meet midway, or we do it his way or my way, whatever. But then he appreciates that I now have my own opinion, which I never did, unfortunately.
How would you describe the program to someone maybe that's never done it before?
I was just explaining this to Joyce outside. So I think the program is a lot of self-work. So do it when you're ready to commit. If you're not ready to commit, don't even bother, right? Wait until you are. Don't end up, it takes time. And that's something that I learned through the program, because initially I go through these phases, and that was the other thing that's changed that I've learned from this program as to how to commit to stuff that I really believe in. Because I'd love to do something and I'd do it, focus 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then I would stop. And then something else would take over, and something else would take over, and life would take over. So this program's really helped me channel my energy, commit, and stay true to it and stay consistent. And so I would say, this program is a lot of you need to really want to do things and make those changes, and they're not easy. I'm still going through one of the major changes, and it's not easy. Like every day you feel like it's scary, and you don't know whether the decision you're making today is going to affect you in the future in a good way or a bad way. It's never been done before, and so it's all very alien and it's scary, and that's what makes it so good, because it'll take you to that new plateau, to that new life, to that new normal, because that's what you need, because right now it's not working.
Yeah. How would you describe some of the processes, some of the transformation processes
so
you've been on?
I love the fact that you still can do it. There is a little bit of flexibility on when you can take the time to be with yourself, because as a working mom and wife and daughter, blah blah, you have too many roles to play, and you have just 24 hours of the day. So I love that the formats come out in email, and you're able to look at the videos and listen to Anita at your own convenience. So even if it is just first part, and then you give it a break because you can't invest a full hour, so you just want to invest 30 minutes in the morning and then 30 minutes in the evening, so that works. But like I said, you need to be consistent, and you need to read through the plan, and that was something that I found challenging, like the consistency and keeping up with it. But I like the flexibility, and I like that you could do it in your own space. It's not, and I love the fact that this program has nothing to do about changing people around you, right? It's all about changing yourself, and then that people around you and the situations around you just magically change. And so you don't need to talk to anyone, you don't need to send how you feel or confront anyone. It's just healing and being, and everything around you changes.
So where you were uncomfortable in some of those places, is it worth it to you? Is it worth it to you to get uncomfortable? Has it been worth it for you?
Yes. As hard and as hurt and as uncomfortable as it makes me feel, and as scary as it is, the whole process, I think it's definitely worth it, because I can't imagine going back. I cannot imagine going back. That's more scary now.
That's more scary.
That's more scary now.
That's more
like
scary.
Going back to pretending, and going back to pleasing people, and going back to doing what you're told. God, no. No.
And what would you say about the investment? So the money you paid for would you say it's good value?
Okay, so I value money a lot, apparently. So I mean, I was a bit skeptical, especially I've never invested in myself, never. And so the only things I've invested in has been educational qualifications to progress me in my life, and practical stuff, or like learning some new skill, which painting, art, whatever. So I'm all for education, but I've never really thought coaching would be something that would need investment of cash. And there's so much available out there, the online resources available, that you just feel like if you really want to change, you could do this for free and you don't need to pay. That's my honest opinion. But I was at such a low, I wouldn't say low, but I was in such, I needed one-on-one support, one-to-one support. I didn't want generic advice that would suit everybody, right? I needed someone to talk to and who would understand the current situation and the complexities of my current situation, and give me pointers and notes on how I can move forward from this mess that I seem to have found myself in. And so for that specific reason, I think Anita was total value for money, if not too cheap. Like I mean, it was definitely something that I hesitated initially to say yes to.
Yeah.
It was a big amount for me to spend on myself, for my mental health. It is literally mental health therapy, right?
Yeah.
Right, like we're trying to progress and think differently and be different, and so but no regrets.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you tell others that are thinking about going on the program and maybe they're afraid,
Yeah.
and maybe they're afraid of investing in themselves as well and having those same feelings? What would you say to them? What would be your message for them?
I'd say it's a choice.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, each to their own. You may not. I think everybody gets something different from this program because it's so unique to what you're going through, and the person you are, and your upbringing and your experiences in life. It's different. And so a lot of my friends who ask me, like, should I do this? I hesitate to make that decision for them and say, yes, you must. Because I think it's, end of the day, I would say, if you're ready to make change, if you're ready to go on this path to discover yourself and find who you are, yes, go ahead, do the work, and you're willing to do the work. Just don't say it, like, oh yeah, I'll do module 1, and then, I haven't come around to doing module 2 because I've been so busy. No, right? Don't do the program. But if you are, everybody's still busy, but making the time to do the work and come and be committed, then yes, go ahead and do it. There's only good that will come out from it. There's no negatives here. Like, there's only positives, because you're only doing what you want to do, nothing else. So yeah.
Perfect. Anything else you want to say?
I love you. No, but thank you, and I love you, and I think you're making such a big difference. Like, listening to you has been, just listening to your free talks that you get through different sessions. If I can hear the same thing that you're saying again and again, I get something more from it. Like, even if it's the same words that you're using,
Osmosis.
and you're just like, oh yeah, I mean, I didn't think about this now, and going through the inner wounds, like just now the session we had where we were talking about the inner wounds, and you're reflecting back through your life story. I've done this exercise before, and there's some, in fact, you realize that, oh, maybe an inner wound from before is no longer hurting you, or you've gone past it, or you've forgiven and you've moved on. And so that itself is something that's worth acknowledging, and you say, okay, fine, that and sometimes you just need to take the time for yourself, and I think you really encourage that, and that's important, to just live a happy life.
Lovely. Thank you.